Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So we're back with a Vayne supplementary guide. Now, I actually mentioned this build, not really this build exactly, but sort of these items that you could build on Vayne. And this is basically a 0% crit Vayne. As you guys can see, we don't have any crit items at all. And this is sort of just a build where I sort of went for all these items because in the match, as you guys will see later in the gameplay, I needed the MR. I wanted like more like tank shredding capabilities, and I was getting bursted. I think it was by illusion, so I wanted the Death's Dance to prevent myself from getting bursted so quickly. And basically, it sort of ended up being this 0% crit build. Now, I think it is a little bit contradictory to have both Wits and Death's Dance, because generally Death's Dance is against a heavy AD team and a Wits is against a heavy AP team, but in this particular scenario I was against a team where there was both a lot of AD burst being the Lucian as well as a lot of AP damage, so I ended up building both of these items in the same build. And kind of when I wanted to opt into this and I opted into this, now I was thinking of like 4th item, and I kind of thought to myself like, hey, it doesn't really make sense to go for crit because I'm only gonna have like 1 crit item then GA, so like what am I gonna build? Like a Bloodthirster probably, but I didn't want to build like just 1 crit item, so or maybe it could be like a Phantom Dancer. So instead I was like, I think Death's Dance is gonna do really nicely here, and then go for the GA. So I have covered all of these situational items in my Vayne complete guide, but I'm gonna kind of just go through this build itself. But I just as a note at the very beginning of the video, I don't recommend going for this build in every match, definitely, because you don't want to be going for Death's Dance in every match. You don't want to be going for Wits End in every single match either. So this is a very situational build that kind of was what I got in this particular match, but you shouldn't be building this kind of build every match. I think crit Vayne is definitely way better than this, like sort of what I like to call the tanky build Vayne, because you do have the tankiness from the Wits End in terms of the both the magic resistance, as well as kind of getting invited to a match here in terms of the magic resistance as well as the healing when you're below a certain amount of health. Then you have, this Divine Thunder, which gives you max health, and it gives you even more healing. Now, it is reduced, of course, for ranged champions, so you only get 7% max health for ranged champions, and you only get 3% healing instead of 7 for range. But hey, you get less value than a melee champion, but you still get a lot of good stats. And you can proc the Spell Blade very often because of how much you tumble. And then you go for Death's Dance. Now, same goes here. It's only 15% for ranged champions having the Cauterized passive. However, still better than nothing, and you still get the full value from the dance, which restores 15% of your health when you get takedowns, which of course synergizes with your ultimate, and of course you do want to be killing or assisting in killing people anyway, so it's gonna do you a lot of favors. So of course, aside from that, you also get ability haste, attack damage, and you get the armor. So you get armor here, you get magic resist here, you get health here. It's a really tanky build. And then you got the GA which gives you even more armor and the revive. So this is like a really tanky build. So yeah, 2 forms of lifesteal here, another kind of form of healing here, another form of lifesteal here, a whole host of ways you can both kill people and also kind of restore your health. You will see how strong that is in a certain part of the video that I'll highlight later. For the runes, of course, Lethal Tempo is the best rune for Vayne. Allows you to proc her W's passive a lot more often. Gives you attack speed stacking up to 6 times, and at maximum stacks more attack speed. I take Hunter Vampirism, of course, for even more lifesteal. Now, I know I already have like a lot of forms of lifesteal, but there isn't really a lot better options here. Hunter Vampirism is just going to be way better. Now, here I don't actually take Nullifying Armor in Vayne. I like to go for Hunter Titan because I find that in Vayne you're a very short range, you're a lot of times in the thick of the fight, and you do want to have more tenacity to stop yourself from just getting CC'd and just blown up instantly. So Hunter Titan is the way to go. And lastly, Nimbus Cloak. Really useful for extra movement speed when you're running away or chasing people down, because you don't really have any other spells you want to take, not spells, runes you want to take here, because like Hunter Genius and Manifold Bend doesn't really help Vayne so much. So Nimbus Cloak is the way to go. For the spells, obviously we have Flash and we have Exhaust. Not too much of a surprise there. But anyways, with all that out of the way, we can move on to the gameplay itself. Alrighty, so here we have the gameplay. I'm gonna be, of course, explaining where this kind of peculiar build came from. So of course, first up you start off with the Blade of the Rune King. Now that's no surprise. You get, of course, mainly the attack speed. You get the lifesteal. You get the drain passive. Standard first item for Vayne in every single build, no matter what kind of build you're going. So obviously we first go for Blade of the Rune King. Then I notice that I want that Wit's End for the lifesteal mainly, but I do also realize that we have a Lux who's AP. Now Shyvana does do some AP damage as well, but she did build AD in this one, and Malphite also could have been AP, but he did build tank, I believe, eventually. So after I've got the Wit's End already, I realized that there's actually only one source of AP, but it's still not all bad because you do actually have that lifesteal when you're below 50% health, so that's still fine. Then I realized that there's a lot of tanky characters. Like, I didn't just realize that. Obviously, I picked Vayne into this team because there's a Braum and there's a Malphite as well as a Shyvana, but I realized that they're really tanky, so I decided to actually go for the Divine Sunder to actually counter the tanks. Of course, it's a great item on Vayne, as I mentioned, because you can proc the spell bait really effectively. You get the lifesteal and you can shred tanks, which doubles down on what Vayne's strengths are. So I get the Divine Sunder to shred out the Malphite, the Shyvana, as well as the Braum. Then I realized that Lucian, oh man, he's doing a lot of burst damage. I opt into the Death's Dance to actually try to delay that burst damage. I don't actually end up completing the Death's Dance in this particular match, but that was the general idea and thought process behind what my build was. As you guys can see, you gotta update your build in-game situationally as you go along. You don't just go for a default build and be happy with that. So, regardless, here we have a Lucian Bromley and we are a Vayne, so we don't want to really be doing anything too aggressive. Now, I will be taking free hits on them, pot shots at them, as I like to say, every now and again when I have the chance to. Of course, you do want to punish their aggression. You don't want to just play timidly and never attack them. If they use their spells, or if they're out of position like that, you want to get 1 or 2 auto attacks in on them, but do know that when you're playing Vayne into Lucian, you lose every single trade because you have high DPS in long fights, whereas Lucian has high burst. So Lucian is going to be going in, bursting you and getting out of there, so you're not really going to be getting too much out of that. Now here his cooldowns are down, so I can try to poke a little bit with my basic attacks. And he has a Braum, which number 1 is going to be blocking your basic attacks from him, and number 2, it's going to allow Braum to put his passive on, and Lucian can proc it really easily. So basically, the moment you get Braum passive on you, you need to disengage immediately. If not, you're going to get bursted by Lucian. Lucian's like full basic combo, and you're going to be in a whirl of hurt. So that is basically the game plan here. Now somehow I actually was able to reach level 5 before anyone else in the top lane. Here, Morgana has been waiting really long to actually go for a gank here. Finally, I do actually get the kill onto Braum. I flash over the wall to condemn Lucian into his wall, and he burns the flash, and I was able to actually get the kill there. Now, unfortunately, Lux ult does come across. Shyvana was also in the area, so I would have died 100% no matter what happened. If I dodged the Lux ult, I still would have died to Shyvana's Shyvana's E. So regardless of what happened, I was dead there. But I get a double kill. We also get Lucian's flash and his exhaust out, so overall I still think that was alright. I did have to flash for that double kill though and use both my summons, but overall trading kills with in this way, I would take it any day of the week. Like, I got 2 kills for 1 death, especially as a Vayne. Like, in the early game, it's a trade you would really take any time of the day, any day of the week. I mean, what am I talking about? But yeah, so Lucian actually manages to get off a relatively nice culling, but Nami comes in for the body block, and unfortunately gets completely bursted out by Lucian and Braum, so it does end up actually dying there. A little bit of an unfortunate situation there. So I do know that some enemy is in the area, that being the Shyvana, because she just hit the plant, so I'm gonna just condemn her away from me, and I'm gonna back straight on off, because this is gonna basically be a very easy dive 3v1. I was thinking of recalling, but I realized Nami's coming back to the lane, so I don't actually have to recall. I'm gonna actually come over to defend the tower. Now Braum already wasted his Q. He has his shield up. I'm gonna pop the ult and try to burst him down. Now he does outrun me with relative ease, I guess you could say. And we don't actually really get the Lucian as well either. So we managed to chunk them both out relatively well. Shyvana comes in for the gank, ults in, and does manage to get the pick onto the Nami. We do have Ari coming off over onto the rotation, but I do actually die under the tower. Not too much I could have really done there. I almost managed to get the return kill onto the Lucian. I actually get the kill onto the Braum though, so that's not all bad. I almost got the kill on Lucian. Like, if he tanked one more tower shot, that would have been another kill. But, you know, not everything will, of course, go your way. So, unfortunately, Lucian doesn't manage to get out alive with that. And it's actually Braum's Ignite that actually gets the kill on me, not actually the Lucian. So Lucian's still at 0 kills, so not really the worst situation in the world when it comes to that. I do have my Bork already, as well as having the defensive boots, being the steel caps, because I do know I'm going into Wits End next. I have already made the decision, so I decided to opt into some physical defense first, as well as, of course, having that 15% less damage taken. Decent amount of CC in the enemy team though, so Merc Treads would have been alright here as well. Now Lucian does basically get off what I like to call a zoning ult to get me away from the tower and get me and Nami away from the tower, so he can actually secure the tower there, which I would say is not really the worst in the world. Now Nami gets caught out again, and here we're gonna basically go and try to fight the enemy team. So here the Braum is kind of rooted, so we do get the kill on Braum. Shyvana, I'm gonna actually proc passive and kill her. Dragon is at kind of 1 HP. Lucian actually manages to secure the dragon, but does pay for it with his life. So overall, my team gets 4 kills for 1, but we do lose the dragon, and it is not only Infernal Dragon, but they also have a Shyvana. So overall, I would still take that trade overall. I would take, you know, 4 kills for a dragon and 1 death. But, you know, of course, giving Shyvana Dragon is never really a good thing and never really feels good. But overall, I still think we won out on that fight. So here, this gives me a little bit of free time to actually push the tower, because we can actually see that the entire enemy team is rotating for Herald, inclusive of the Braum. So at worst, it's a 1v1 with me and the Lucian, which, of course, as I said already, we don't exactly win. So we do want to be wary of that. We only win if we can, you know, exhaust him or something like that. But he does have exhaust as well. So here I get a trade on him. He does exhaust me. I did actually hit my stun. So I'm going to dodge his culling here. And I'm going to actually exhaust him and actually be able to get the kill. Now, the only reason why I actually managed to kill Lucian here is because he basically really badly misplayed. He basically exhausted me when I wasn't really even trying to attack him. So he wasted his exhaust. And he used the culling when I have my tumble. So I am able to just tumble out of the way. So basically, because of that, I am able to instead exhaust him, so he can't actually damage me anymore, and that allows me to basically win the 1v1 against the Lucian. So really, here is kind of the Lucian misplaying that allows me to get the kill, and of course, conversely, me outplaying him when he misplays as well. So, but rightfully, that should never have happened. If Lucian plays correctly, he should win that 1v1 every single time, unless you reach late game. But at this stage of the game, it's like sort of like early to mid game sort of area. We're kind of bleeding into the mid game region already. But he really should be winning that 1v1 against me. Now, it gives me enough gold to actually buy full on the entire Wits End here. So I do have the Wits End. Now, for some reason, they all in onto Nami, and they do get the kill on Nami, but unfortunately for them, they used up everything on the Nami. So this allows me to just swoop on in and basically just clean up those 2 kills. So trading support for 2 kills onto the Vayne, never really a good trade for them, and I take it any day of the week yet again. So I get myself another double, and I'm really sort of starting to snowball at this point. And I'm gonna just clear up the minion wave and try to get off a push onto that tower if possible. I want to get myself more gold from the tower. We already got that first plate. Now we are getting a second plate of solo gold, and we're gonna get the entire first tower's worth of gold as well. So a huge gold injection for me. And I'm gonna back, and I'm gonna pick up my Zhonya's Hourglass, which pretty much is more or less the only enchant you go on Vayne unless you need the QSS, but don't quite think I need it in this particular match. So I'm gonna go for the Zhonya's Hourglass. I'm gonna build toward the Divine Sunderer by starting off with going for a She. Now I'm kind of standing base along here because I'm kind of going to navigate my store and scrolling down to get myself to the Divine Sunderer. Obviously that's not gonna be my default build. So here I'm going to be on the chase for the Malphite, who is going to get caught out by Nami's ultimate. Excuse me. And we do actually manage to get the kill onto the Malphite. So I was thinking of chasing onto the Lux, but Braum and Lucian could very easily rotate and ruin our day. So we're not going to do that. We're instead going to clear out the bottom lane minions, which gives us a lot of free guaranteed gold. And we'll leave it at that. So here, Morgana is actually an AP jungler who doesn't really benefit from red buff a lot. So despite only being 2 items in, I'm actually going to just take the red buff because really no one on my team really benefits from red buff that much. I mean, Pantheon maybe would be good with red buff, but I'm pretty fat, so I'm going to just take the red buff for myself. I try to actually reset my auto using my Q to destroy that ward there, but not quite fast enough. So something you can do is actually you can auto Q into a wall and auto to destroy a ward, but you gotta be really quick with it, which I was not quite quick enough because I wasn't actually near enough to the wall to properly cancel my auto attack. But so there is a 1 HP ward in that mid lane bush, which we are aware of. So here there really is nothing to farm, so I'm just gonna farm the raptors. As I always say, you wanna farm wherever you can. So we're just gonna farm up those raptors, and we're gonna head back to base and get another component, the Jarm's Fist. Of course, if you can reset and get a mini component, why not? Having a component is better than having no component. And we're gearing up towards another dragon fight that's gonna be breaking out really soon. So here Lucian with another culling. He kind of likes to do these long range cullings from what you notice from this particular player. Don't think that's the best way of using the Lucian ult though, but whatever he wants to do, I guess. Alright, so here we can just see a fight's going to break out any moment. Our Morgana actually kind of gets caught out. But here I get caught out by the Malphite. I'm going to kind of go backwards. So here you can see I'm really low. And here you'll see the power of the Wits End combined with the Bork, combined with, you know, the Vanter Vampirism, but how much we can really heal up. So notice we're like now back to like 2/3 health. Of course with a little bit of help from Nami as well. And here we get the kill onto the Malphite. Pantheon wreaking havoc in the backline. And here I'm just going to be going for the Lux, of course sidestepping the binding there. And here I'm going behind her to pretty much cut off her escape, and we do get the kill onto the Lux itself. Now this gives us the ability to actually go and do the dragon. Pantheon can pop the honey fruit, get himself that healing, and we can just go for the dragon like so. So notice where I'm standing right next to the wall. This allows me to actually roll into the wall using my Q to actually just reset it very quickly, and allows us to DPS the dragon a lot more effectively. You can also do this with towers by rolling into the wall and auto attacking a tower if it is safe to do so, of course. If not, you might need to save the tumble to actually roll away from the tower when the enemies come to defend. So here we have picked up our Divine Thunderer already. So here we are going to be really strong. As you can see, KDA 8, 2, and 5 at the moment with 11k gold, the most gold in the game by far. Lucian actually closely behind with 10k gold. And we're back to farming up the red buff. Now if we did join our team in mid lane, I think this is a fight we could have actually taken. But we do actually get the pick onto Malphite anyways. So not too much loss there. And here again, we're going to farm up. I was thinking of farming up the Raptors, but I realized that a fight might break out in the mid lane. So here I'm just going to take the Scuttle instead. Shyvana actually hops on over and manages to smite the Scuttle away. But my team is all in the area, and we're just going to full on engage into their team. Pantheon gets the kill onto Lux already. I'm ulting in, going for the chase onto the Braum. I exhaust him to make sure he's slowed and cannot escape in any way, shape, or form. But he isn't really getting away anyway. So my team going for the enemy blue buff and going to push the bot lane tower of the enemy team. In the meantime, I'm pushing mid lane, so I get a little bit of solo goal, and yeah. So here Lucian is pretty much the only one left to defend. Malphite has just come back out from the base, so he's also going to be around to defend. And here we get a second plate. Malphite comes in with his ult, but kind of misses us by a pretty fair margin. And I take tower aggro because of red buff, so Lucian again with another long range ult, which you can easily sidestep out of. Okay, Ari gets the charm on Lucian, but unfortunately I'm not close enough to really follow up. By the time I get there, the charm has basically expired, and I can no longer really kill the Lucian. So here, just notice as Vayne, especially a fed Vayne, you just want to be really patient and wait in the backline. You don't want to be too aggressive and overcommit on any kill that you can't really get safely. Like, you don't want to put yourself in any unnecessary danger. Although you are low range, that doesn't mean you must always be in danger, because you can always go in when they are focusing somebody else, and despite being low range, you can remain relatively untouched. Like you saw in just on the fight where I was really low and got bursted from that Malphite out at the beginning. You do notice that eventually I was able to stay untouched and lifesteal all of my health back. And that's pretty much the main idea you want to go for when you're playing Vayne. You don't want to really be the main focus of the enemy team ever, if you can help it. So here enemy team trying to siege down mid, but we are able to actually clear out the wave. They're 5 strong in the mid lane. Malphite goes in for a 3-man ultimate, pretty nice ultimate by the Malphite. Shyvana gets charmed into bubble and tanks Tara. Pantheon actually gets that kill. And here we pretty much won the fight. Lux stasis doesn't actually really matter because she's in a horrible position to begin with, so Lux dies as well. And enemy team just surrenders. They realize they lost the match at this point, and we pretty much just get the win. Could have been a Pantheon Penta there, but surrender came in a little bit too quick. So anyways, I'll leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you so much for watching the video, and goodbye.